Hello, everybody. Today, actually, we should be discussing about the lung cancer. The lung cancer treatment has drastically changed over the decade, I would say. There's a paradigm shift as far as the lung cancer treatment is concerned. The lung cancer remains a major global problem, as all of you know. The predominance of lung cancer in male is quite high, and that attributes to the smoking. But of late, female population is also showing the high incidence of lung cancer. Again, this is because of modernization, industrialization, maybe more and more smoking habits in the females. In India, males, if suppose like we see the numbers, then around say 53,000 new cases were diagnosed as far as the Global One survey 2012 is concerned. Out of them, about 48,000 odd, say 48,697, these patients died of cancer lung in male population, as against in females around 16,000 new cases were diagnosed in 2012. Out of them, about say 15,000 females they succumb to this particular disease. So the gravity of this particular disease is huge, but only ray of hope is that over the period the treatment is drastically changed, and that is for the good. Many of the times we see lung cancer in late stages. Around say 48% of these cases, when they are diagnosed, they are in stage 4, unfortunately. So stage 1, stage 2 disease actually is very difficult to see, but stage 4 disease actually is quite common. And now actually what, as a doctor, actually we are understanding that we have reached to the plateau wherein we know that over the period, over the ages, we have been using cytotoxic molecules drugs, and these drugs actually they can produce effect to a certain extent. The 1 year survival is around say 35 to 40%. It's not improving beyond that limit. So till maybe I would say around say 4 to 5 years back, we were thinking that we have reached to this particular survival, and this survival is very difficult to improve. There were many chemotherapy schedules planned, so maybe doublets and triplets of the cytotoxic chemotherapy along with paclitaxel along with cisplatin, gemcitabine along with cisplatin. So cisplatin doublet, then cisplatin triplet is being tried, but without any survival benefit as such. So main toxicities of these particular cytotoxic agents, it remains the major hematological toxicity is nausea, vomiting, neuropathy. That remains the problem. So the medical fraternity was looking for how to select the patients to improve survival, how the predictive markers would become available, and how better therapies actually would become available, which are less toxic and more specific. So over the period, if suppose we see in 1990s, actually we used to see lung cancer as a single entity. Lung cancer actually, we were thinking that it is a single entity and the treatment was almost same. That is, the patient used to undergo CT scan, and then if suppose it is surgical resectable, patient used to go for surgery, then some sort of the local treatment in the form of radiation or something. This was till 1990. 2000 saw a major breakthrough in the histological differentiation. So the pathologists actually they differentiated lung cancer into non-small cell and small cell. In 2007 and 2008, the non-small cell variant was again subclassified into adenocarcinoma, large cell, and squamous cell carcinoma, depending on their histological behavior, the pattern, then the response to this particular treatment. But today, in 2016, we know that we have established targets. So even if the patient has got non-small cell CLM, irrespective of whether it is adenocarcinoma or squamous cell carcinoma, we would look at the targets, the biomarkers. Like the important biomarkers or the oncogenes, they are EGFR, that is epidermal growth receptor gene, epidermal growth factor receptor gene. This is an oncogene. Again, one more is ALK, that is anaplastic lymphoma kinase sort of, or ROS1. So these are basically the mutated genes. So the patients of lung cancer would undergo molecular somatic mutation or the molecular testing before going for certain treatment. So this is the development of today, which is for good for the, which is for the better for the patients, as the treatment actually has shifted. We have options to target these particular oncogenes. So these are druggable targets what we are identifying now. So non-small cell CA lung actually can be differentiated into adenocarcinoma. Adenocarcinoma remains the major chunk, major percentage. So about say 55% of the cases actually are of adenocarcinoma. Today actually we would look at the mutations. I mean, like how many adenocarcinomas they show somatic mutations, or otherwise you can say driver mutations. So which mutations we can call as a driver mutations? See, basically there are somatic genotypes and somatic phenotypes. So the mutations which are creating mutations in the somatic genotypes, or somatic genomes, they are called as driver mutations. Why driver mutations? Because these mutations actually are responsible for the subsequent cell growth and mutations in the cell growth, or encoding of the proteins which otherwise would produce cells which are mutated. So these are called as dominant or driver mutations. The other ones are passenger mutations, wherein the mutations are seen at the phenotypes of the cells. So they are not the dominant mutations, and they may go unnoticed. So today we identify the driver mutations or the driver mutants. And why? Because we have certain drugs which can act against this particular driver mutants, against this particular against this particular EGFR oncogene or ALK gene. So this is an achievement. And what we have achieved with this? We have achieved survival benefit, overall survival benefit. So basically in 1960s, 70s, the survival actually was 2 to 4 months. But now with the advent of targeted therapies, molecular targets, druggable targets, the survival advantage or the survival benefit actually has gone to 18 plus months. So this is a big achievement. As far as anti-EGFR treatment is concerned, so there are many of the tyrosine kinase inhibitors. So these are called as anti-EGFR TKIs, and they are used widely and more commonly in non-small cell CLM, basically adenocarcinomas, wherein EGFR mutation is seen. To be very specific, if the mutation actually is seen at exon 19 deletion, then these particular EGFR TKIs treatments they are more effective. And fortunately, even if lung cancer is common in India, the Asian population is showing more of the EGFR mutation. And the good thing is that if the EGFR mutation is seen, these particular EGFR mutated lung malignancies can be targeted with anti-EGFR treatment, giving a good prognosis, good overall survival, good progression-free survival to the patients. So this is the advantage. So this is what actually we have achieved over the period, maybe a decade. So this is a paradigm shift as far as lung cancer is concerned. So I would suggest everybody, every chest physician, every physician, or for that matter, the patients actually who are listening to this particular video, if suppose you have been diagnosed with carcinoma lung, ask your doctor or get molecular genetic testing or mutation study done for your pathological specimen to identify whether your patient or the lung cancer which you are dealing with, is it treatable, is it curable, or is it This is just to palliate. So this is what we have achieved, and I would definitely stress that each of the histopathological specimen or the biopsy specimen should undergo molecular testing to identify the treatable targets. Thank you.